There we go. Welcome, everybody. Raising with Ryu. My guest today, Cash Maroni. Really, really cool dude. You guys are going to love hearing what he has to say. I was just talking before we went on the thing about the difference in temperature. So he's actually sitting there nice and relaxed at 82 degrees, and I'm freezing my nubs off up here in the Northeast for 30 degrees. So I envy you, bro. Wish I was down there. I miss being down there. So start off the history of my meeting Cash. We met probably 2 or 3 years ago in person.
Right before the pandemic, right?
I think it was during it, yeah. Because I still had to wear the freaking mask to the mall in Cancun.
Oh yeah.
But we have a mutual friend, John Romano, and little history. When I go to Cancun and visit Mexico, where anabolics are legal, sometimes I will partake in anabolic use in Mexico, where it is legal. And there's been a issue lately from some people in the know who are like, the stuff at the pharmacies is 99% bogus, and you're getting ripped off, and there's nothing even in the vials really. So we got hooked up through that mutual friend, and he's actually saved me a lot of trouble running around Cancun, and I got some really quality stuff from him, and it was nice to use while I was down there. So we were talking last year about how crazy the junk is in the pharmacy now, and the scams are pulling on people down there. Do you want to fill our listeners in on that?
Well, hey, everybody. Well, it's not just Cancun. I got to find the name. I'll find the name, and you should post some pictures of it when you can figure out how to post those pictures.
I won't do that. I can't figure it out yet.
I'll when you're talking, I'm going to look for it because it's a real pharmacy, legit, but they sell Viagra and Retin-A and aspirin, Tylenol. They have regular stuff. But if you're an American and you look like you work out, you walk in, they hand you a laminated card with all the gear on it and growth hormone that they say is from Mexico, but it's actually Chinese. It costs about $50 a box in China, and they start out at $750 US, and they'll work you down all the way to $350 to get you to buy it. The gear is like $150 a bottle. Because in Mexico, you can buy fake Primo for $20 a bottle. You want real Primo in Mexico, it'll cost you, I'm talking wholesale price, buying in bulk, probably $40. That's the price in Mexico for a real bottle of Primo. I know in the States you'll never pay that.
Yep.
But that's the price now for real Primo, wholesale, like to a distributor. Retail price would be about $60 here. So if you're getting it for 60 here, at the border it might be 100. If you got a good friend, maybe 85. As you're going farther up the United States to get to your territory, it could be $150, 200, easy.
Yep.
But if you're getting Primo for under $50 a bottle, it ain't real. And then on top of it, the most expensive right now, because I used to have my own lab. Did I tell you I used to have my own lab? I used to make my own products here in Mexico, not in the States. Didn't make it in the States. I used to buy raw material by the kilo. Right now, a kilo of halotestin is $30K. Which now do the math. That'll be 100 bottles of 10 milligram of 100 tabs would be a production cost of $30. But you still got to make the pills, the bottle, the labeling. Say $45. The real labs in Mexico sell halotestin. They only sell 50 tab bottles, 5 milligram. And the fake labs are selling 100 tab bottles, 10 milligram, for cheaper than the guys that are selling the 50 tab bottles of 5. So you're getting half the pills and half the milligram because it's expensive. And then you got to remember, most guys aren't buying a whole kilo of raw halo for $30. They're probably buying a half a kilo, which is going to be $20. And if you buy a quarter kilo, it's like $15. So the Chinese work it this way. A kilo of test only costs about $600. $800, but you got to remember most tests is $250, $300. So if you're doing 300 milligram enanthate, you're only going to make 333 bottles out of a kilo because you got to put 3 grams of raw material. But right now, Primo is probably $12K for a kilo. You only make 100. Make 1,000 bottles, 100 milligram if it's injectable. So you do the math. I can tell when I look at the prices if it's real or fake because I know the actual production costs of the product. Unless the guy's just jacking up the product and it's fake. But I would have to when everything went to shit in 2006, the videos they did on RX Muscle, all the shit that every pro bodybuilder was either doing QVET, Dencal, Pharma, I can't remember the name. And there was another one called Animal Power, some weird name. Oh, Sig Group it was supposed to be
Quality Vet too.
Yeah, Quality Vet was the biggest one, but there was another one called Sig Group. I had a kangaroo with boxing gloves.
Yep.
There was a company from Australia that had production in Mexico, which is normal, and they did really good Primo. They did really good Tren. And the funny thing is, there's still people in Mexico selling those boxes with the kangaroo on it, but it doesn't say Sig Group anymore. It just says something else. And here's something for anybody that goes to Mexico. If you buy a real veterinary anabolic, and no one knows this unless you live in Mexico, by law, you cannot make any injectable or oral steroid in Mexico over 50 milligrams per ml. That's what happened when everything in Operation Gear Grinder happened in 2006. Because what happened was there was Brovel, Tornell, and Laufer. They used to make an injectable D-ball with B complex.
Yep.
We used to take gel capsules and fill them up, and we would swallow the liquid D-ball. And the capsules, this product was so strong and so chemically, whatever the fuck it was, they would melt as you swallowed it, and you would be burping liquid D-ball. And when we go to the gym, we're like, there's 50 milligrams of D-ball in liquid with vitamin B.
Wow.
So what happened was the owners of Animal Power, Sig Group, Quality Vet, they started making 75 milligram Anadrols and 100 milligram Tren and 300 milligram Deca. That doesn't exist for animals. It was all licensed, perfectly legal in Mexico, but it was all human use. That's how they got by certain things. So after everything went to shit in 2006, the Mexican government made a law that nothing veterinary anabolic can be over 50 milligrams. And to this day, you can buy Deca 300, Test 300, Test 400, you name it, and it says Uso Veterinario, veterinary use. If you are in Mexico and you buy anything that says over 50 milligrams, it's fake.
Yep.
If it's vet anabolic. So that's my freebie to everybody out there. If you come to Mexico and you go, I went to the vet pharmacy and I got real gear and it's over 50 milligrams, it's fake because you cannot by law. And it'll have the licensing number on it. It's called SAGAR, SAGAR, and it'll have like a 10-digit code. It's fake because if it's anything over 50 milligrams, it ain't real on a vet product. On a human product, I'd have to say there's probably like 4 or 5. I mean, because obviously there's some really good bodybuilders in Mexico now. In the 212, there's one guy. His name is Noel Adam or something. He got like 4th place in the O. In the 212, big fucking legs, looks good. But in the open, the top open guys still aren't. There's not even. They're doing like a 3rd-tier show and getting like 8th place, 5th place. There's one kid that's really young, short though. He was like a world champion at like 22. Like in the the world championships they have, and then he went into the to the open and he got like 6th place like in a 4th-tier show.
Yeah,
because what's his name from Evogen, he works with a lot of Mexican bodybuilders, but the fitness girls are where Mexico is shining. Not in the bikini, not in the wellness, but in the figure division, there's been a couple that have won some good shows.
Nice.
Or placed high in the the Olympia, placed high in in the Arnold. But when it comes to open bodybuilding, they're still not there yet. 212, yes, because there's a lot of short guys. But in the open, I mean, you see guys, you're like, wow, the guy looks amazing in the Mexican lineup at the Mexican Nationals, and then you see him in a pro show with guys that you don't even know, like some show in the middle of fucking some country in Europe that you never heard of, and you don't even know the name of any guy in the lineup, and he's like 8th place. So can you imagine him next to like a Nick Walker or like an Akeem Williams? He would, and the guy looks amazing, looks huge, 240, 250, It just doesn't have the structure, doesn't have the round muscle bellies, just doesn't have the look of the guys that are, like a Hunter Labrada.
Well, 250 or even that's like small compared to those guys. So.
But it's funny, the Mexicans that are in the open, a lot of them are pretty tall. Some of them are taller than me.
Wow.
And I'm 5'10", 5'11". I mean, you know how tall I am. You're like
exactly. What about armpit height?
Because back in the day, there was no one. I didn't know anyone, and I'm talking all of Mexico. I didn't know anyone that was bigger than me back in the day. I'm talking 15 years ago. And the guy that's probably did the best, he's retired already. He's my age, but he still looks good. And I remember he showed up here. I think he won the Mr. Mexico like 2010, 2011. And came to Cancun and did a guest posing, and I showed up and I made him look like he looked like my little brother. But I was like 290 at the time.
Yep.
And when I first, and people came to Cancun, people in Cancun got used to see me around. I mean, I've been here since 97. So guys that would come to just won to Mexico, they'd come for like a guest posing and they'd take a picture with me, and my shoulder was bigger than their fucking arm. And I never felt like I was some big, huge guy. And then I'm like, man, these are guys that are like top bodybuilders. And, and even when I used to go to the Olympia and stuff, like the last Olympia I went to was at the Mandalay when Ronnie won. And I sent you that pic. I'm standing next to Ronnie, and Ronnie was 297, and I didn't look small next to Ronnie.
Yeah, we weren't in contest shape, but you were size-wise, you hung right with him.
But it made me laugh because I'd be at the Olympia and I'm walking around, and people are like, hey, what country are you a pro from? I've never seen you before. And I'm like, I'm not a pro bodybuilder. I don't even compete. And they're like, you walk around 295 at that height and you're not a pro bodybuilder? I'm like, no, I just work out. Because I used to supply a lot of guys.
Yep.
That were sixth place at the O, top 3 at the Arnold, and I could talk about him now because he's in jail. No one gives a fuck. But even Craig Titus, he was the only one. And I told John this, and all the other guys, I met them not in person. They actually were clients on my site. And in those days, we didn't have smartphones, so I get an email and I'm like, is that? Nah, this is some guy using that guy's name. And then I would call and I'm like, hello? Yeah, this is so-and-so from HGHMX. Really? Oh, okay. And never asked me for a discount. Just, hey, are you legit? And yeah, fuck yeah. And oh yeah, that shit in Mexico is the shit right now. It's hard to get. And my prices were good. Back then I was selling a bottle of Deca 300 for like $110. Wow. And my cost was $55 back then because hey, I was buying it, wholesale. I was doubling my money. A bottle of Trend was like $120. And those guys were doubling it in the States.
Oh, yeah.
That's when people paid $200 for a bottle of Deca.
Yep.
Because there was no undergrounds back at that time. The undergrounds came out after.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because I would go to those shows and I'm like, people want to take a picture of me. And I'm like, I'm nobody. I'm just here as a fan. And they're like, what country are you pro from? Because you're not from the U.S. I'm like, no, I'm from the U.S. I just don't compete. Oh, okay. And they're like, look at me. And then this is a story that's the best. And I think I said it on X Muscle. I'm sitting at the 2003 Nationals in Miami. Just opened up the business. Every week, the sales are multiplying like cancer. And I'm sitting in the audience, and I had a phone at the office that you could call either a California number or a Florida number, and it'd ring to my Mexican cell phone. So when I went to Florida, I'd take my Mexican cell, and then I had like a little Verizon. I'd buy like $50 of credit to do like calls while I was in Florida. And my phone would just ring all day long, Bill. And I'm in the prejudging. And, you've been to a show of prejudging. The audience is like half empty. It's quiet. Yeah. And the phone would ring. I'm like, yeah, hello. Okay, you need what? 20 Decas, 15 Trends, 3 kits of GH. Okay, 17 bottles of Equipoise. All right. And I'd be sitting there just taking orders on the phone. I'm like, okay, send me an email, send me your address, and I'll forward it to my guy in Cancun because I'm in Florida. And by like an hour into the prejudge, and people are like turning like, "Who the fuck are you, dude? And why are you talking about that shit? Like you want 3 kilos of heroin and a kilo of cocaine? Like I was talking like it was nothing." And I'm like, "I don't live in the United States. I live, you know." And they're like, "You got a card?" And I'm like, "Yeah, here's my card." By the end of the show, the guy that won the show, Dave was third or fourth place that year. Remember a guy named Eric Fromm from Muscle Tech? I think he died, right?
I think so.
He was like the favorite to win, and the guy that won the heavyweights, I think he did one pro show and quit. He won the overall in the front. He was a heavyweight, not a super heavy. Dave was fourth, I believe, that year. And I'm not going to shit on Dave, but that was when Dave started kind of getting that Palumbolism look, and it didn't have really good, fucking ripped, just gnarly, but just not put together right. Sorry, Dave. And the guy that won the show comes out of the theater with his trophy, his overall trophy. Everybody's around him. You know, this is back before there was really internet that much, 2003. He sees me, fucking beelines. "You're that guy." I'm like, "What guy?" "You're the guy." I'm like, "What do you mean I'm the guy?" He goes, "You're the guy everybody's been talking about all day." He goes, "I got to take it to the next level. I just got my pro card. Hook me up, brother." And I was like, "Here's my card, man." And never heard from him. And he did one pro show and disappeared. I can't even remember the guy's name. Black kid, great physique. Just, you know, I mean, in those days, you know, a lot of those pros, they win and they, you know, oh yeah, the next Mr. Future, Mr. Olympia. As soon as they put that on there, it was like a curse.
Oh yeah.
A lot of those guys in the early 2000s. Yeah. Speaking of the Olympia, who do you think is going to win this year? I mean, there's only 40 guys.
Yeah, I think if unless Romney really fucks up, I think he's gonna take it again. Although the freaking Nick is looking like a beast too. So.
But you know what though? I've never been a fan of Rami. I think his back sucks, and when he does a front lat spread, he looks in a rear lat spread. He just does not look good. And like Nick doesn't look good because he's blocky and he's short, but he looks freaky. To me, Rami, and now that it's obvious that he's been injecting his quads, and to me, his quads never look good to me. I never liked the way his legs look. And now when they have these big fucking dents in them from the injection spots, if they let him win this year, I think it's a travesty for bodybuilding.
I don't think he should have won last year, to be honest, but I think it's so much different than when I was coming up and really getting into the shows. It's just like, who's the biggest now? It's like you got guys winning the Olympia with no calves. I mean, if you didn't have legs, calves.
Well, come on. Dexter won the Olympia, and how many Arnolds with no calves? But I mean, but look at the rest of them, though.
I mean, for Mr. O, it's like Ronnie had. I mean, they were high, but he had calves.
Well, you know, I think here's my two people that I could see: Samson Dauda.
Yep, he looks
that guy. I mean, just this year he looked small, and then he went to 330. And I believe Andrew Jack. That not this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got potential.
But Andrew Jack doesn't do GH.
Really?
Yeah, he's what's his name? His coach, the little Arab dude.
Oh, Haney?
He's not Haney, the other guy, George Farah.
Oh, okay. Yep.
George Farah says he refuses to do GH. Can you imagine him on 10 IUs of pharma grade GH and insulin and all the other shit? That's probably why he looks as good as he does. His waist. I mean,
yeah.
When he won that first show in Texas, you look at the lineup and no one else. To me, no one else existed.
Yeah.
Like like when you look at, oh, okay, Hunter. Oh no, Nick. Oh, Brandon. Oh no, when fucking Andrew Jack stood in the lineup at that first show, and even at the Arnold Europe that he won, you look at him and no one else draws your eye. You just, because first off, his fucking midsection, no matter if it's a front double bicep, a fucking most muscular, or fucking his abs are just like, tick, 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 and it just draws you in.
Absolutely.
And he's got those tiny little waists and those big flaring quads. you imagine that guy with another 15 pounds of muscle?
Yeah, he's gonna be fierce. Like I think he's got great potential right now. I mean,
Yeah, just got all he has to do is if he gets the back to match from the front. I don't like anyone better than him from the front. He's basically like a bigger, taller version of Flex Wheeler from '93.
mm-hmm.
And Flex should have beat Dorian at least once.
Yeah, I don't want to get started on all that because I think he should have lost a couple times in his reign. But
he should have lost it. He should have lost to Nasser in '97.
Big time, big time.
I know look. Dorian still had him beat from the back. Nasser never had an amazing. But when you looked at it, was close from the back, especially from the waist down.
Mm-hmm.
And they both had those retarded fucking calves.
Yep.
And Dorian's calves are amazing. His legs were weak from the front. But if you looked at them from the front, it was like, I'm 100% in agreement with you. Dorian got blown away.
No, Nasser killed him. I was reading Muscle Mag mostly at that point. I was just like, how did Dorian with a torn bicep, and I think he was recovering from the tricep. How do you your symmetry is shot? How do you win Mr. Olympia with no symmetry? But I don't know.
The pose for Dorian was the front and rear and his side tricep with the one leg staggered. No one could match him in that shot. But a front double, his arms just looked like little kitty arms.
Yep.
And then Nasser in '97, his arms looked fucking tarded.
They were beastly.
And the only other guy that I like better, but couldn't pull it together, remember John Pierre Fuchs?
Yeah, before he tore his
that dude was a beast.
Yeah. They did him wrong with that photo shoot. Oh my god.
I remember that. I still remember having that magazine. I remember going to the store and I'm like, no. That was back when they used to make him do the real weights, like, a week out from the show.
Oh yeah. His squat 650. It's okay. I want the realism.
That guy was basically a bigger version of Nasser.
Mm-hmm. He was a big boy.
His chest looked like tits.
Yeah, I remember all those guys were that was the era too. So the 80s and then the mid 90s. Then it started to go downhill after that.
But when you see a guy like Andrew Jack, he looks like a 6'1", bigger version of fucking Flex.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. I'm not a fan of Nick because of those fucking veins in his calves. He needs to get that shit fixed. He would look way better.
I think so.
And he doesn't look. You know what the problem with Nick is? He looks great in like 3-4 poses, but like a front lat spread, he just looks like a little. He looks like a little oompa.
Yep.
He looks great when he's training. I like Hunter's physique better. And now Hunter, he put on 15 fucking 20 pounds of muscle. If Hunter comes in shredded with his shape, he'll easily repeat top 4, maybe move the top 3.
I'm a kind of a Hunter fan. I like him. So
me personally, if you say, Catch, you can look like Hunter or Nick, I would take Hunter.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's still got that kind of, I hate to say classic look, but it's the look I fell in love with as a kid that I wanted to look like, but bigger. It's not just big and nothing else.
Even look at Samson Dowd at 330 pounds. Let's do a comparison. He's in better shape at 330 off season than Ronnie was at 330 off season.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, like you could still when Ronnie was 330, he just looked like a fucking water balloon.
Yep.
Remember those guest posings? You couldn't see abs. His legs there was nothing there. Yep. And you look at Samson, and he hit 330, you can still see a side separation. You can see his fucking abs. Can you imagine that guy? Because he's tall too. Can you imagine him at 300 pounds in 2 years? Because he put on like 25 pounds of muscle this year in like 7 months.
His legs are just insane.
And he's got some ridiculous fucking. All he needs to do is bring up his back a little more. See, I would take Hunter. I would take Samson, Andrew Jack. Those 3 guys are the ones to watch out for. And you know what, too? If Akeem could bring his shit together, Akeem Williams is a fucking. I mean, people forget 2 years ago he was top 6.
Yeah.
And Akeem is a beast.
He is. Yes.
He's a fucking monster, man.
I'm excited for the show this year. I'm bummed I didn't get to go down, but I'll have the live stream going. So I'll be
Next
watching.
year, it'll be in Orlando again next year.
Is it? I thought they were staying in Vegas. No.
No, Orlando next year.
Oh, it's even closer. That'd be a nice quick hop for me. I'll do that.
Be a quick hop for me.
Yeah.
Hour and 40-minute flight.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yes.
I kind of want to push it hard one more time, but I've been having problems with the arthritis in my right knee, the torn meniscus in both knees. But I've been doing a lot of sets of legs, a lot of high reps, heavy weight, not like I used to do, because I was famous for, like, you know, even in the States, you never see people deadlifting 7 plates on each side, squatting 6 plates, benching 5 plates. And when I used to go see my dad in Jacksonville, because Dexter used to train over at the Worlds on the beach, and I used to train on the west side of Jacksonville, which is like kind of like country bumpkin. And I would walk in to like whatever gym I could find. They're all gone now. They used to have 10 powerhouse gyms in Jacksonville, all gone. They had like 5 world gyms. I think only the one on the beach where Dexter used to train is still there. They had 1 or 2 Gold's gyms. Now it's all 24-hour fitness, shit like that. All those gyms are gone in Florida. Well, at least in Jacksonville. And I mean, think about it. They used to have 10 powerhouse gyms in Jacksonville alone. Because Jacksonville is the largest city in the United States per square mile. Like, just to go from one side of town to the other is like a good hour and a half with no traffic.
Wow.
You know, on a highway, not like, you know, regular stoplights. And I remember, I guess maybe because people got used to seeing me here, you know, they just didn't pay attention to my size. And then I'd walk into like a world gym in Jacksonville. I'd walk in and people were like, you know, and it's Christmas time. So I'm like tank top, T-shirt, fucking long sleeve, fucking, you know, hoodie. I'm freezing my ass off because I'm like, I come from 90-degree Cancun weather. Now I'm training in 25-degree Jacksonville. So I'm in the gym with all covered up, trying to get my joints just warmed up. And back then, I used to bring my gear all preloaded.
Oh, shit.
Because what? Well, I'd be in the airport. Right? And I just bring, if I'm going for 10 days, I'd have like, okay. And I would pre-syringe it and I'd label it. And I remember, you know, like in your luggage, you had the part with the mesh.
Yeah.
You know, like you put your bathroom stuff. And I would, you know, I would write down on my little card, you know, this is what I'm bringing in. I would, you know, my claim, what is it called? The claim card?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah. So I open up my luggage and they're like, oh yeah, it's my gear for the week. I'm like, it's just my personal stuff. And I would claim it, so I wasn't trying to hide it. My wife's looking at me. And she used to go with me on some of the trips. And then, like, you know, of course, you're going to the airport that size, and I'm all dressed up and with the diamond earrings and like, you got any stuff? And I'm like, yeah, just my stuff for the week. You're not going to confiscate it. I'm just going to shoot it while I'm here and have like a bottle of, like a little GNC thing with my Anadrols or my D-balls and my Rimadeck, what I was taking. But instead of vitamins, it was gear. And I would claim everything. And up to a certain point, they would let you bring it in. And then it got to the point where now you can't have this, you can't have that. And, you know, one time I even brought 3 boxes of Chinese GH, but like the good shit. It was just good shit. And I brought it for my dad. I wanted my dad to take it to help him, you know, because he was like 7 at the time, and they confiscated it. I was like, man, it's for my 7-year-old dad, dude. Come on. He was like, it's not for you. I'm like, no, it's for my dad. I got all the fuck. I can show you a picture. You want to see what I got back home? And I show him the picture of the storeroom in the farm in the office. I'm like, this is what I got. Or the best one. Are you have any steroids on you? Yeah, in my ass. You want to suck it out? I said that probably more than once. You got any steroids on you? I'm like, yeah, in my ass. Would you want to confiscate it? And I don't mean like up my butthole. I mean in my ass. And then they look. But you know those. And I would walk into the gym and I'd be all covered up. Got like 2 shirts on, tank top, a hoodie, wearing long workout pants. I'm warming up. I start stripping off the stuff as I get warmed up, and everybody just like, "What the fuck, dude? Like, what are you taking?" And I'm like, and they're like, wow, you're so open and honest. I'm like, You're not worried about any legal action? I'm like, no, I live in Mexico. I'm just here to visit my dad for the holidays. Oh man, and that's how it was. I didn't give a shit. And the guys in the gym were just, I mean, like I felt like I ain't gonna lie to you, I felt like I was a fucking pro, man. Like I would have like a whole crowd just watching me work out.
Yep. Yep.
And the guy who ran all 10 powerhouses, he was a cigar, what do you say? Aficionado.
Yep.
And he goes, "Oh man, I love cigars." And I said, "Okay." Came back 2 months later, and I brought him 6 Cohibas in a Ziploc bag because my business partner used to go to Cuba. And you ready for this one? I used to get them from Cuba, a whole box at a time. But I'm talking 16, 17 years ago for $35 a box from Cuba. And the guy goes, "If I could get one here, it would cost me $150 per cigar."
No shit.
Because they're illegal.
Yeah.
And I brought him one. I brought him a bag, like with 6 of them. The guy almost passed out. He goes, "Anytime you're here, anything you want, any gym you want to use, just call me and everything be ready for you when you get there." Like I basically handed him like $600-700 worth of cigars. That one he couldn't even get. I'm like, man, they cost me like $1 a piece, $2 a piece. And he's like, "I can imagine," but I'm like, you can't get them in the United States, and if you can, they're going to be well over $100 a cigar, and they're going to probably be counterfeit. They're not going to be real Cohibas. The guy almost like, he was like, you want to, and I didn't even think, but that's how I used to be, and I miss those days. I really do.
Yep.
You know what I really miss? The Craig Titus after parties.
I've heard about those.
I went to one at the Olympia.
As wild as they say.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I was quite the popular person at that party.
Well, I can imagine. Everybody wanted to hook up and be your buddy.
But though I wasn't stupid. You know what I mean? But a lot of the guys were really nice. They weren't, asking for nothing. They were like, "Look, I just want good shit. I don't want to have no legal issues. I'm a public figure." And of course, back then, guys couldn't talk about it. In 2000, even in 2006, you didn't have guys. It was back like, "Hi, I'm Jay Cutler. I drink Muscle Tech, and I weigh 300 pounds."
Yeah.
And we used to believe that shit when we were younger. We all did.
Yeah.
I remember you ready for one? Here's the one that's going to blow your mind. Cybergenics.
Oh my God. I remember that commercial.
The 60-day kit.
Yep.
It was like $125.
Mm-hmm.
I took it. That's how dumb I am. I took that. And I literally thought I was going to look like Frank Santorello. What's his name? Frank Santorello?
Franco, yeah.
I was like, I told my mom, "Mom, I got to get this. It's $125. I know it's a lot of money. It's like my whole week's salary working at the grocery store with tips. But if I take this, I'm going to look like the guy in the box." I was like 18 years old. No, 17.
Yeah.
And then,
that was an interesting time.
I remember when Metarex came out.
Yep.
I couldn't drink it. It was so thick. Like it didn't matter if I drank it with that much water or that much water. It still was just like glue. Tasted good. I just couldn't get it down.
That was the same formula of the old metabolol, right? They Connolly added some more shit to it or something.
Oh, but you remember Hot Stuff?
Oh yeah, that was good stuff.
Yeah. I would pay money to find out what was in that.
I forget which podcast I was watching. I think they were asking Zumpano about that. And he's like, I think he was putting Clen in there is what it was. Because I don't think it was actual anabolics. I think it was just Clen. And it was like
I think there was something else in there.
I took it as just like how old was I?
That was supposed to be the original pre-workout, remember?
Yeah, I was like 22 years old. I bought some of that at GNC, and I'm like, wow, I'm fucking getting so fucking strong. Wait,
you used to take Hot Stuff, and remember Ultimate Orange? You drink like a intro workout.
Yep, that was the Ephedra. I think was in that. The first estrogen-based stimulant drink there. Yeah, Dan brought a lot of cool shit to market like that. That was cool.
Wow, Superdraw used to be sold in GNC.
Yeah, they took it out after a while, but I remember seeing it on the shelves. And like,
if you would have took that original Superdraw back then, you would have put on 15, 20 pounds in 6 weeks.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's too
It's
busy.
and I could still remember taking that hot stuff. And there was another product out there too that was adulterated. It was hot stuff, Ultimate Orange, and there was another one. I can't. You know who used to make a really good protein powder back then? Remember the old original Beverly International?
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. I never bought it, but
They're still around.
Really?
Yeah, they make a product called Muscle Builder. I used to drink. We used to sell it at the gym. We used to do the 2 scoops of Beverly International vanilla protein powder, orange juice, frozen strawberries, ice, and a banana. That was the original shake that we used to sell at the gym. And I remember I was a 19-year-old kid, and I'd bring all remember your mom's yellow tuppers, the old original yellow with the ridged top. I'd have like 2 or 3 of those full of food. And we used to make the shakes for the people at the gym. You fill the glass, and it'd always be about that much at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd probably drink about 10 or 20 of those a day, the leftovers. Nice. I used to get a shake for free. You know, I worked there, and I used to always slurp all the extra. I was probably pounding more calories in those days than I could even imagine.
It's the only way to get big when you're young like that. I remember the first supplement I ever bought, those god awful dynamic muscle builder tablets from Weider.
Oh, the ones that were like,
trying to chew those. They're chewable, and like they taste like horse shit though.
I used to work for remember GNC used to be corporate and private. Yep. I ended up getting hired by a guy who owned like 4 private, and I was in college full time, and I used to run all his stores while I was in college, and all the employees were all retired, and he used to have remember the old original Gold Card Day once a month?
Yeah.
And I said, look, you need to put in this, you need to put in some, like this supplement, we can bring in clothes. And this guy he owned pharmacies. He was from Massachusetts.
Oh, shit.
And the guy was like, man, you're 19 years old, man. You're a smart fucking kid. And he goes, okay, I'm going to hire you, I'll pay you this. And I said, let me start with this store. And if I can get you 20, I think when he bought the store, it was in a retirement town. Remember they said in GNC, they just had like a little green sticker on the bottom. And for every one that you sold, you would get like $1 commission, $1.50, 75 cents, maybe $2. And there'd always be a buy one 50% off, and then 20% with your gold card. And the old people would come in once a month, the majority, and buy all their vitamins and supplements on Gold Card Day. Within 6 months, I went from $1,800 on Gold Card Day to over $20,000 in revenue. The guy let me have full control of all 4 stores at 19 years old. And I remember we'd have like the papers under the counter with your name on it, and you would pull the stickers off and put it on. And I would have 8, 9, 10 sheets of $1.50, $1.50, commissions. Fuck, I'd have sometimes $1,000 on 8, 9 sheets. I was a fucking machine. I brought in workout clothes. Then they had remember the power stores that were around for a while? They'd have workout equipment, gloves, bent bars, some benches. I turned one store to a power store. Man, and then I became a certified trainer.
Nice.
I got certified through, remember NFPT?
Yep.
With John, what was the guy? John, the guy that made the original MCT oil.
Oh, Perillo.
John Perillo. Perillo Performance. He had a program called National Federation of Professional Trainers. I got certified through them, and I got certified through ACE. Nice. And I worked at a Gold Gym franchise. And then a year later, I took over the whole gym personal training business. I bought out I bought the concession for the trainers from the owners for $2,200 a month. I said, I want the personal trainer's office. I will pay you rent. How much you want? The guy goes, I want $2,200. It was in a strip mall. I said, okay. And he looked at me like, you're a 20-year-old kid. You're going to pay me $2,200 a month for, fucking, 9 foot by 12 foot space. I'm like, yeah. But all the personal trainers are going to work for me, and they're going to pay me. You give me my $2,200, and I helped run the gym.
No shit.
And he didn't pay me a salary. But the trainers were charging $40 an hour, and this was in a high-end town. and every trainer had to pay me $7 off of every hourly session that they were charged.
It's not a bad gig.
I was making about $12K a month.
Nothing wrong with that.
At 20 years old, I dropped out of college, quit school, and I was going to school for, you ready for this? Business. and my business management professor goes, "Why are you going to drop out of school?" And I go, "Can I ask you a question, professor?" And he goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "How much you make?" In Florida in the 90s, they were paying, I think he made like 42,000 a year before taxes. And he goes, and I go, "That's why I don't want to go to school for business. I don't think there's anything you can teach me." And he goes, "Why?" I go, "Because I think I made more money in the last quarter than you, after taxes than you did the whole year before taxes." And he goes, "Well, I guess you're right. There is nothing I can teach you." I'm like, what are you going to teach me? I'm like, "I'm running a business. I have technically 9 employees. They're not my employees. They're trainers. They can come and go. They can fuck off. They can do whatever the fuck they want. But if you're going to train 40 hours a week of clients, I want $7 off of all those 40 hours."
Mhm.
And and back then we didn't pay taxes on our fucking. I mean, yeah, you paid taxes, but you didn't pay taxes on the personal trainers in those times. No, we didn't. No one paid taxes. I was driving a brand new Corvette, paid for. Had a motorcycle, paid for. Sea-Doo, paid for. Had a 1-bedroom condo on the beach, rented. And I lived like a fucking king. And I missed it. I mean, think of it, you're single, work out in a gym full of all day long. I mean, literally, that was the life. And I enjoyed what I was doing.
That's the big. If you can do that, you're already winning.
Well, you know what? I used to work from 6 to 10 and 4 to 8. And I live right across the street from the beach. So what I do is work 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the evening. I used to train with my 7 o'clock client. He was a nice guy, mid-40s. It was back when, remember, the UFC just started in 93?
Yep.
Guy was a big-time UFC fan, did martial arts. I used to do jiu-jitsu and kempo for a long time. And then I got into another business. I was probably the first person that ever did food service, meal service.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, what happened was I used to train him and his wife. I used to charge them probably about $600 a month each to train them. And that was in 93. That's a lot of money.
Mhm.
Yeah, 40. Yeah, probably about 600, 650 a month per client. I had 12 clients, so I was making about $7K a month. And they invited me over for Thanksgiving, and you're going to laugh because people don't know this. Like, I cook everything. I used to have a restaurant here. I started cooking at 12. I learned how to make pies from scratch from my mom. My mom's from Arkansas, so I used to make all the good old Southern food. And my father and my grandparents are from Sicily, so I learned how to cook all the Italian stuff. And I was in the kitchen at 12. And I made a homemade apple pie, all right? With like when they do the top, where you do the strips, and it looks like it came from the bakery, and with Granny Smith apple, the whole thing. Made the pie filling overnight, with the cinnamon and sugar, let it sit in the fridge, the real deal, like my mom used to make. So this guy was a husband and wife lawyer team, office on the beach, big fucking house on the golf course in Vero Beach, Florida, where the Dodgers do the spring training. And I was like, man. This guy, they treat me like family. They pay me well. I show up at the house, Thanksgiving. They have all these, everybody, this is my friend Cash. He's me and my wife's personal trainer, friend of the family. And I walk in with the pie, and he's like, "You made that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I told you I bake." And he's like, 20-year-old kid with muscles who bakes, And I'm like, "I swear to God, I baked it. Look, it's in my pie dish from my house. It wasn't, everybody showed up with their store bought with the plastic." He fucking cuts into the pie, he takes off, goes in the next room. He's like, "I got to hide this fucking pie. No one's having any of this pie. You made this pie?" And he goes, "Can you make food for us?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, can you make us breakfast and lunch and deliver it to our office in the morning, and they'll put it in the fridge and we can heat it in the microwave and I'll pay you." And he's like, "What can you make us?" I'm like, "I can make you like gourmet pizzas with chicken breast, and I can do this, and I can make eggs, omelets with, back then there wasn't turkey bacon, but I can do like special omelets." And he was like looking at me, I'm like, "Yeah, I'll make you, and I'll go buy all the tuppers. I will charge you the cost of what they cost me, make all your tuppers, and I'll bring you Monday and Tuesday food, Wednesday and Thursday food, and then Friday I'll bring you food fresh, because you don't want it to sit back, 2-3 days.
Yeah.
And he's like, "How much you charge?" I go, "I'll charge you $1,500 a month." He fucking cut me a check right there on the spot.
Oh shit. Nice.
And I started doing food service before. What's all the food? Like chicken pan. Oh, that's not food service. It's salt. Oh, it's food service. But like the trifecta meals and all. I did that before anyone even thought about it.
Oh shit.
And I did that for. Yeah, I'm stupid. I could have probably been a millionaire already by now.
Yeah, we know the stories though. You got some great stories.
I'm working on being a millionaire. I'm getting there.
You get there. Speaking of which, I understand you got a new project in the works.
Which one?
The
the
stuff.
Vitality Wellness, HRT.com. Discount Gentropin from Pfizer at 70% discount.
Wow.
I'll let Bill tell you guys about it later. And if you guys buy it, if Bill recommends you, he'll give you his Bill 10 discount. You can call me 1-800. Actually, can I give the number over the phone?
Absolutely.
I don't even know the phone number to my new website. I can't spell vitality either. Here's what we'll do. It's Vitality Wellness, HRT, altogether.com. I have a 1-800 number, 1-800-298-9408. If you go to the website, you can reach me 1-800, talk to me personally. I have links to stem cell here in Mexico. And you can contact me through WhatsApp, email, and Telegram at the moment. My signal is not connected. And if you mention Bill 10, you'll get 10% discount off on your cost. And right now we are 70% cheaper than any pharmacy price. You can look on our website, go to GoodRx, check our prices. We are about 70 to 75% cheaper than any major pharmacy in the United States. All product is shipped, guaranteed delivery inside the United States. No customs issues, no problems. You can also send your blood work to be reviewed by us, and no prescription needed.
That's a pretty damn good deal, bro.
And if you buy a 3-month supply of Gentropin, you can get 2 bottles of your choice of Test-Cypionate or Test-Enanthate for your TRT for only $150 extra, shipping included. And that doesn't include the 10% discount with your Bill 10.
That's pretty epic, bro. I appreciate all the stuff you're doing for my viewers, and definitely.
Well, here's the thing.
It's not even the freaking crap shit you're getting in Mexico either. So,
like I told you earlier, people ask, how can you sell the same exact? Because if you look at the picture of the box on the website, and if you go to GoodRx and put in Gentropin Pfizer 36 IUs or 12 milligrams, the average price is about $1,650 a box in the pharmacy, and we're selling it at $425. And I tell people in Mexico, you can walk into the pharmacy and you can even get it cheaper than you can get it from my website. But the difference is how you're going to get it from Mexico to the United States. That's what we handle. We have a warehouse in Texas, so there's no issues. But the thing is, why is it cheaper in Mexico? Because there's no marketing cost on the products. When I'm back home in the States, the first thing I see on TV is, my dick is not hard. Let me take this pill. My dick is too hard. Let me take this pill to make it go down. My blood pressure is up. My blood pressure is down. My thyroid is up. My thyroid is down. I'm on 6 antidepressants. I mean, when I'm back home and I turn on the TV, I cannot believe how many commercials I see for medicine. It literally is, or you open up a magazine and it's every other page is a pop out or a pull out. Well, I mean, now magazines are almost dead, or you go to any website, you're pounded. And I don't do any advertising. Well, I'm starting to do some advertising, Facebook, stuff like that, but almost all my clients come from word of mouth. Like, if it's a friend of Bill's, they're going to buy from me because they trust Bill. They don't know me. But the thing is, how many companies today, doesn't matter what you're buying, you can't just pick up the phone anymore and talk to a person. Or if you're going to talk to a person, first you got to go through select one. So, then if you dial my 1-800 number, you're going to talk to me. And if I don't answer the phone, you send me a WhatsApp, an email, a telegram, a signal, so it's not connected yet, and I will get back to you within an hour or two. That doesn't exist anymore. You're an old guy. Like, I mean, I'm going to be 50. You're older than me.
I am, unfortunately.
I don't like to talk to a fucking machine.
Nope.
I don't want to have to go through a menu and hit 6 different options before I get to be on hold for 20 minutes before I get a representative. And then if I'm lucky, I get a representative. I'm not going to be racist because I live in Mexico. I am married to a Mexican national. My son is half Mexican, but I don't want to talk to Gupta in India who doesn't understand my English, and he doesn't understand me either, or I don't understand his Indian. I want to talk to someone, and I'm not being racist, but yeah, I'm outside the United States, but I'm an American company selling American products. And it's nice to where you can actually pick up the phone in this day and age and actually speak to someone. And my clients that are what we call their lifers, that every 3 months they buy their GH, I do their workout programs if they ask me. I help them with their diet. And if it's basic, I don't charge for it. And then I have some clients like, well, I want something more extensive, and I charge them for that. But, I tell them, I said, look, I can only give out so much information every day for free. And I'll give them a very good customized workout, not a cookie cutter. Hell yeah, print it out. I'll send it to them in WhatsApp. I'll send videos. I use a lot of, God rest his soul, John Meadows. I love his training videos. So when I send someone a workout program, reps, sets, with like, well, how do I do it? I can't be there. So if it's someone like a John Meadows who just has great form, great technique, I like to send videos of his to show people, if you're going to do your curls, do it this way. Or so if I can't be there, at least I'll take the time and I'll put together a routine of, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, if they can only train for 45 minutes, because all these people you see now on Instagram that are giving out these routines and some of these people are making 50K a month. Just they got 3 workouts for men, 3 workouts for women. And they just, oh, well, this guy looks like he's workout number 2. Sends it, charges $500, charges $150 monthly,
check-in fee,
and that's it. And if you want to make a phone consultation, it's $150 for a 10-minute call. I mean, look, there's nothing wrong. I know guys like Amin charges $3,600 for a 16-week workout program. Nothing against Amin, but he's a top coach. You want a phone consultation, it's a $150 phone consultation. If you want a 16-week mass building workout program, cycle, all that, he'll do it, but it's $3,600. How many people can afford $3,600 for a 16 workout program? I'd rather spend $3,600 on drugs. Not, what I mean by drugs, but or charges you $12,000 for the year. A lot of people can't afford that. And he'll tell you what drugs to take and when to take them, but he's not going to tell you where to get the drugs. I'll give you the actual how to take the drugs, and I'll even tell you where to get the drugs. You know what I mean? And that's, I don't know. I guess I'm more old school like you. I think the more you give out for free, the more you're going to get back in profit in return.
Oh yeah, so you got to make yourself available and put yourself out there. So
no, because sometimes people take advantage. Like, hey man, send me a program, and it's like, and then I have guys that call me literally. I have one. All right, I'm going to tell you a story. I got to tell a story before we finish.
No problem, brother.
Good client of mine buys his GH every 3 months. His brother's a client of mine, buys their GH. I sell them all their, their tests, their Rimidex, make a lot of money with these guys. Do their workout programs, give them diet tips, never charge them a fee extra. Calls me up one day and he can't move his leg for like a week. And I'm like, I'm worried. He's like, oh, maybe the stuff I'm taking is contaminated. I'm like, how many shots have you taken? Oh, I've been using this bottle for like a week. He was stacking test, EQ, and trend. Right. And I said, okay. I'm like, where did you shoot it? And he told me, he's like, maybe it's my sciatic. I'm like, oh, I'm starting to panic.
Yeah.
And then finally, after about 20 phone calls over 9 days, I got a question. When you push the needle through, it's staying on a 22 gauge needle. I'm like, okay, you take out a CC bold, equipoise, a CC a test, CC a trend. Do you take off the tip and put a fresh tip on because you just push it through 3 rubber stoppers because now it's all bent? Doesn't look bent, but under a microscope. He goes, no. And he goes, okay. So you've got a bruise from using a dull needle. And I'm like, and then he comes out with it. Not only is he doing test, EQ, and trend 3 times a week, pushing that through the same, and then injecting, he's using the same needle 2 more times.
Oh my God.
So that needle's been through his butt 3 times and been through 9 bottles to draw out from. That needle now, if under a microscope, needle looks like this. It looks kind of like goes like this and then goes like this. Yep. That needle looks like a fucking fishing hook. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, so he goes, yeah, I use it for like 3-4 times and then I throw it away. So I'm like, you're talking anywhere from between 9 draws and 3 injections. That's 12, and maybe 4 times. That's 15. That needle's been through 15 surfaces. Yep. And then you wonder why you can't move your leg. So it took me 20 phone calls, hours of my time, and I was worried because, I have him as a client, I have his brother as a client. He's about to give me another client, that'll be a big client for me. And I'm like, man, did I do something to this guy? Did I sell him something bad? Did I tell him to do something wrong that I can't think of? And it came down to fucking using the same needle through multiple vials over multiple injections, over 3 or 4 injections. So I literally was in shock, and I was like, you stupid bitch. I mean, like I was mad because I actually care for the guy. He knows about my son. I know about his son. His son is playing, minor league hockey and might go in the NHL. He's so we know each other, and we know each other personally, like I know you. Yeah. And I'm like, I would never want to. I consider all my clients my friends, and some of the people that we know, they send me people in confidence because, one, they can't hook up anybody because they can have legal issues. Right. And 2, I can supply them with where to get something, and they don't have to worry about any legal issues of receiving their packages overseas because it's all domestic. So I'm kind of incriminating myself right now. But I do have people in the NFL and some other people that I can't mention. But you know what? If I can help people out, that's a good thing. And if I can give out so much advice that I should be charging for free, hopefully it'll come back of more clients, more friends. Because in this business, all you got is your balls and your word, honestly. And most guys ain't got balls anymore. They talk about each other behind their backs. Mm-hmm. And they would prefer to make an extra $10 on a bottle of shit and sell you garbage. I don't know. It's just, it ain't what it used to be. And, even sometimes I've been scammed, So it happens, but I don't know. I miss the 90s and the early 2000s. I really do. And I think honestly, at that time, because I was working with Joe that worked with Dexter, and then I was working. Remember Tim? I don't know. He's still around. Tim Gardner. He does all the Wings and Strength shows.
I've heard the name, yeah.
He's out of Tampa, and he used to train. Like, remember Marcus Haley, and he worked with a lot of guys. Well, I won't say how we met, but I was helping some of his clients, and then his clients introduced me, and I think I was about 285, and I go to Tampa, and he was like, "Hey, strip down, let me take a look at you." And I'm like, "Yeah, my diet's like this. Yeah, I do this." He's like, "What are you taking?" And he goes, "What do you have access to?" And I said, "Do you really want to ask me that question?" And I'm like, "I have access to everything." And he was like, "There's no way." And I said, "Hold on, let me show you some pictures." I'm coming from Jacksonville, drove over to Tampa. And he's like, "I think I was 30." And you remember at that time, guys were turning pro at like 40 years old. Yep. Yeah. Remember there was that time there was a lot of guys turning pro really old in the early 2000s. Yep. I mean, even Tony Freeman turned pro at like 39 and made all the way to the top 6 at the O. Yep. And a lot of those, and then now it's going back to the younger. And technically I was 30. I was like, yeah, 30 years old. Yeah. And so I was technically young. And he was like, and I hooked him up with some stuff that he needed for his clients. And he was quite expensive, but we gave me a better rate. And I said, oh, we could do either I can give you a better price, or you can charge me less, or you can charge me the full price like you do everybody else, and I'll charge you the full price. So we came to an agreement. And I'm not a big eater. Puts up my program, hands me like 3 sheets of paper. The first 2 fucking pages were just meals.
Oh my God.
And he goes, I'm looking at your structure. You're wide as fuck, and you still need more shoulders. He goes, I think it was like 7,500, 8,200 calories a day, and it was clean.
Wow.
And I was like, Tim, I can't eat this. There's no way. I'll literally die. And he goes, you could be 320 pounds off season and in shape. And I'm like, I can't do it. There's no way. I've never been over 294 pounds. I've always wanted to weigh. One time I wanted to get on the scale and see it weigh 300. And